Learning objective 9, which is to define, name, and write formulas for hydrates. So a hydrate is an ionic compound with water loosely attached to the lattice. Essentially what we can do with a hydrate is we can take the water off. So if we heat it up, the water just goes away. The opposite of a hydrate is an anhydrate, which is just an ionic compound. So you've been naming ionic compounds all week. We could also say, so like instead of anhydrate, we could also say anhydrous, which means without water. So a hydrate has two parts. So the first part of a hydrate is the ionic compound. And then the second part of the hydrate is the water, which is a molecule, which is a molecular compound, right? So water is a molecular compound. They contain 3 words in their names. So these are the only type of compound that you're going to name in my class that has 3 words. No other compounds have 3 words. Okay. And then they have 2 parts to their formula. So let's look at writing names of hydrates from the formulas. So follow all the rules of naming ionic compounds. So again, with this, you're looking at what is the cation, what is the anion, naming the cation, naming the anion. Okay. And then you're going to identify the number of water molecules that are attached. So add a prefix. Again, these are the same as the molecular compounds and in front of hydrate. So it's prefix hydrate. So let's look at an example here. Not really sure what CD is. So go to my periodic table, elements. And then I'm going to look for CD. So CD is right here. It's number 48 on the periodic table. Its name is cadmium. So CD is cadmium. It is a transition metal, so we're going to have to do something with that. Got to figure out what the charge is on this guy. And then I have sulfate, SO4. If I didn't know it was sulfate, I could go to my reference sheet again, go all the way up. SO4 is sulfate, right? Now, I look at the charge for sulfate. It is 2 minus. So if sulfate is 2 minus and I only have 1 cadmium ion, so 2 minus, that means cadmium has to be 2 plus charge. So this would be cadmium 2. And then SO4 is, again, sulfate. So cadmium 2 sulfate. And then I need my third word, right? So my third word would be hydrate. And then I need to look at my number of water molecules. So I have 8, which is octa. So this would be octahydrate. So cadmium 2 sulfate octahydrate. Okay. So then I'm going to leave you with this one to do on your own. Just some practice. So writing formulas from the names. Again, we're going to follow all the rules for writing formulas of ionic compounds. So write the formula of ionic compound. And ionic compounds, we look at the charges and cross the numbers. So you're just crossing the number, you're not crossing the charge. So you're going to identify the number of water molecules by the prefix in front of hydrate. So with these, always think like I'm hydrating, I'm drinking a ton of water, right? So if I hydrate, I'm drinking a ton of water. So that's what hydrate means. It's got water, okay? So to write the formula for this, place a middle dot, and then the number of water molecules, number of H2O, and then number H2O from the prefix is a large number in front of the formula of water. Okay. Now this large number value, large number, is what we call a coefficient, which we will talk about again next unit, right? So let's look at an example here. So potassium carbonate hexahydrate. Okay, so now I've got 3 words. I know it's a hydrate, so I know if I have hydrate, I have H2O. Okay, and I have a certain number of those. Okay, again, we're going to write the formula for the ionic compound. So this part right here, everything in front of hydrate is the ionic compound. Okay, and then the hydrate is just the water molecule. So potassium, I know potassium's K, right? I know potassium is K. It's right there, right? And it has a +1 charge because it's in group 1. So group 1 always has a +1 charge. So I can say I've got a +1 charge. So 1 plus charge. Carbonate. I don't know what carbonate is. Not sure about carbonate. I know if it's got an ATE or an ITE ending, then I'm going to find it on the polyatomic ion sheet. And it is right there. So carbonate is CO3. Remember, I don't want to change this formula at all. And it's got a -2 charge. So carbonate has a CO3 3-. Again, with these, I'm going to erase the actual charges here, and I'm just going to be left with the numbers, right? And then I'm going to circle my numbers that are superscripts, and I'm going to bring them down. Now, I don't have to write the 1 because the 1 is understood. So what this is K2CO3. And then I place a middle dot, okay, and I'm going to put H2O. But I need to put a number. So hexa is 6. So this is 6 H2O. So K2CO3.6 H2O. That's how you write a formula for a hydrate. So I'm going to leave you with this one to practice with. So this was learning objective 9, which was to define, name, and write formulas for hydrate.